And we're going to get started.
Yay.
And I just want to remind everybody, you can sit in a chair, you can sit down in a cross-legged position if that's something that you're accustomed to and you feel comfortable with. So either one is great. We'll do just a few warm-ups from the chair. And I always do start with a reading. I'm usually, when we're at Edgemont, we might take 5 or 10 minutes doing a reading and doing a little discussion. I'm going to keep it very brief since we have less time. And this is stress management for when you're stressed.
Hey.
Yay.
Jean, could you put us all on mute?
Yes.
I got it.
You got it, Katie?
Yep, just give me a second.
Should be on mute.
So this is stress management for when you're stressed. And again, this will be fairly brief. The antidote to stress is relaxation. Hey, that seems pretty obvious. But how do we do that? To relax is to rest deeply. This rest is different from sleep. Deep states of sleep include periods of dreaming, which can increase muscle tension, as well as other physiological signs of tension. Relaxation, however, is a state in which there is no movement, no effort, and the brain is quiet. So that's what we're looking for when we're trying to manage our stress, a place where the brain can be quiet. When you're not, in times like these, says this author, who is Nina Zolotov, stress levels for most people, guess what, are getting particularly high. So she's sharing in her blog post 6 different basic yoga tools that you can use to reduce your stress levels. The 6 yogic tools provide you in different ways with the ability to switch your nervous system from a stress response, which is also known as fight or flight, to relaxation mode, which is where we want to be, rest and digest. Turning off the stress response reduces your overall stress levels and allows you to experience the benefits of conscious relaxation. These stress management tools aren't all interchangeable. You can use any of these practices, and you can choose which you prefer to trigger your own relaxation response. And as I've read in the past, not every form of stress management is going to work effectively for everyone. So use what's right for you. And we'll use a different approach to relaxation each week. And the 6 tools, and I will just list them quickly. Meditation. Breath practices, and that's the one I'd like to focus on today. I think that's one of the most accessible ones for most people. Restorative yoga, we won't do that here. It needs a lot of specific props. Supported inversions, we'll study those a different week. Shavasana, which is the classic resting pose that we do at the end of class, and focused relaxation. These are guided relaxation practices, which include basic body scans and visualizations. So we might do one of those in a coming week, but today it's going to be about breath practices. That will be our stress management tool. Simple breath awareness triggers the relaxation response by providing a focus. That's when we're just at the beginning of class focusing on our breathing. However, pranayama or breath control directly affects your nervous system by changing your heart rate. Practices that slow your breath or lengthening your exhalation to quiet your nervous system. And that's exactly what we're going to do later in the class. So that's the end of my reading. Breath practices is our stress management tool for today. But for now, I invite you to sit back either in your chair or if you're sitting cross-legged, come to a place of stillness. Physical stillness first. Calming part of your body, feel a little bit jittery. Finding balance, so both sides of the body are feeling fairly equal weight on the 2 sits bones, both knees facing forward equally. shoulders level with one another. And from this place of physical stillness, please turn your attention inward to your breath. Here is our breath focus. Taking just a few moments here to notice the rhythm of your own breath. Paying particular attention today to the relationship between the inhale and the exhale, which is longer, which feels more accessible. Perhaps you'll find that your inhale and exhale are about equal length. Just notice. Don't try to change anything. Simply being present with your breath. Now please draw your hands together at your heart center. Gently press the palms together and then find that upward movement where the thumbs slide just a little bit up the sternum, creating more length. I am going to start class by chanting Om together 3 times. Please do join me if you would like to, or you can participate by listening. Breathing in. Om. Inhale, exhale. Please replace your hands to your lap. Allow your eyelids to open and come forward, if you would, towards the front of your chair. If you're seated on the floor, I don't know if anyone is, you can just remain where you are. Sitting up nice and tall, finding your seated mountain alignment. Shoulders over hips, knees over ankles. Beginning by that simple linkage of movement and breath. We'll begin very simply by turning the head to the left on the exhalation. Inhaling, come back to center. Opposite direction. And center. You're turning on the exhalation, if that feels right in your body, and inhaling back to center. A few more times in each direction. And let's add a lift of the arm as you turn the head to the left, opposite arm lifts. Release center. Turn head right, left arm lifts. Release. Back and forth a few more times. Don't be in a hurry. No need to match your pace to mine. Your pace might be a little bit slower or a little bit quicker. The next time you turn your head in our first direction, which was to the left, opposite arm lifts, pause. Breathing consciously and smoothly. And release, second side. Head turns right, left arm lifts. Pause. And release, come back to center. Placing all 10 fingertips on your shoulder tops, we're going to take little side crunches. And it will go like this. Please join me. So we'll start this time on the right. The right elbow is going to dip towards the right hip. You'll feel a pretty strong contraction in the side body. And the second side. Inhaling to center, we'll add on, not only will that elbow dip, the opposite elbow is reaching up towards the sky. Come back to center. Left elbow, left hip. Opposite elbow reaches way up. And we'll do it 2 more times to each side. This time we'll take a hold. So the legs and feet remain very stable. That top elbow is reaching up. You can turn your head as well to look up, or I like looking down. See how that feels in your head and neck. Come back up and we'll take that to the second side. Find your evenness, your balance first. Then dipping left elbow towards left hip, lifting that opposite elbow up, either turning your gaze to look up or look down. And bringing both elbows back to a place of balance. And releasing your hands down to your chair, we will come to stand. So please bring your feet a little bit closer to your chair legs, placing your thumbs in your hips crease. That's right where your torso meets your legs. Just find that nice forward tilt, long spine. We'll go back and forth a few times. Coming back to upright. Coming forward, feeling that length in the spine. Coming back to upright. And this time we'll add the actual lift up out of the chair, spine forward. Exhale, come all the way up. And join palms, send those palms together to the heart center. And I know I need to adjust my camera angle, so more visible. Standing up nice and tall in your standing mountain pose. Find that alignment, just as when we were seated, of hips and shoulders in alignment. But now knees and ankles are also aligned. Make sure you're not coming into forward head. Draw that chin back just a little bit and pause. Be in stillness in standing mountain. A few more breaths here. And please do take hold now of your straps. So you have either a yoga strap or a bathrobe belt, whatever you've got is great. Something that doesn't stretch, ideally stand wider than our traditional mountain distance, so wider than hips distance apart. Take your strap and let your arms also be quite wide. So wider than, you can see my hands are much wider than my shoulders. And we're going to start by pulling the 2 sides of the strap apart. You can feel some muscular energy, especially in the muscles around your shoulders, perhaps in your forearms. Keep that pulling apart energy as you lift the strap up towards the sky. And exhaling, bring the strap back down. Keep that pulling apart energy side to side. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, release. If you have shoulder issues and going all the way up as I am doesn't feel great for you, you can either go a little bit wider on your strap or perhaps just not come up quite as far. Maybe this is where you're coming to. And the next time we lift that strap up, still that pulling apart energy, we're going to take it into side tilts. Arms are straight, bringing the strap and your whole shape over side tilt left. Inhale, come on back up. Side tilt right. Legs remain firm and long. Side to side. The next time you come over to your side tilt to the left, keep that pulling apart energy and pause. Of course, please remind yourself it's your practice. Take a break at any time. Come on back up. Exhaling, second side. Just a brief pause here. And inhaling up, exhaling, let that strap release down, let it go a little bit lax. Pause, breathe, find evenness in the body again. And step your feet, if you would please, together again to about hips distance. I'll turn to the side because we're going to bring that strap back behind ourselves. The body's in mountain pose alignment, and I've got my palms facing up. So you could hold your straps different ways. Palms could be down, palms can be up. I do recommend the palm up position. And we're going to keep the arms long initially. Let's just bend the knees, sitting back into chair pose. You're reaching your hips back as if you're going to sit in your chair. And come on back up. And let's do that one more time. Bending the knees, keeping that lift in the heart. And come on back up. We'll add the arms. So this time as you bend the knees, we're going to bend the elbows. Knees and elbows bent. Lengthen legs, lengthen arms. Let's do that again. Elbows bend, knees bend. And lengthen. And last time, bending knees, bending elbows. This time, extend the arms long behind you. It might be quite a lift. It might be a little bit lower depending on you. Arms are long, legs are bent. Coming out at any time, perhaps just another breath or two here. And lengthen. Put the strap aside for now. We're going to come to our place at the wall. So I'm just going to shift the position of my camera. Find your place at the wall, please. And we'll take our wall dog. So placing your hands right in front of your shoulders. Your arms are long, your fingers are spread, and you'll take about a leg's length from the wall to step back and take a nice stretch. Releasing your hips back. Feel free to bend the knees and lengthen the legs. Bending knees, let's all do this. And lengthening legs. One more time, bending And lengthening. And pause. Here's your pause in wall dog. Enjoying the stretch however you choose to take it. Your legs might be lengthened. Some people prefer taking wall dog with bent knees. And lengthening legs. If they were bent, step yourself forward. Find mountain pose. Just for a breath or two at the wall. Gaze is directly forward. And hands at the wall one more time. We're going to add plank pose. So for plank pose, arms are long and you're stepping back a little bit more than when you were in dog. And your torso and your legs are in one long line. Breathe. So I'm not collapsing here. I'm not rounding. One long line as best you can find it. And now piking back into dog. Coming forward again, find your plank. And wall dog. And last time, plank at the wall. And bend your knees, walk forward, and come on back to your chair. So not to sit in your chair, but to stand with your chair for a little bit of support. If you would like to use it, you may not need to use the chair. So we're going to come into one of my favorite standing poses, which is Warrior Two. And you're going to bring your left foot forward, step your right foot back. That front heel is more or less in line with the back arch. And your hips are not facing the chair. I think we did the hips facing the chair last week. Our hips are away from the chair. In Warrior Two, starting very simply, placing hands on hips. Let's see how it feels to bend the knee towards the chair. And come back to length. Bend that knee, add the arms. And release arms, straighten leg. Bending. And lengthening. This time as you bend, lift that back arm up. You can turn your gaze forward over your left fingertips and straighten the leg, come back to the T arms. We'll do that a few times, lifting, back arm, gaze forward, T position, long leg. One more time, a brief pause here, gazing over those nicely lengthened left fingertips, strong arms. Breath smooth and even. Coming back to upright T position. We're going to take that into a reverse warrior. So in reverse warrior, bending the knee, bringing your right hand down the outside of that leg and lifting into reverse warrior. Come on back up. Bending knee, sliding back hand down. Coming back to the T. And we'll do it one more time for our hold. And this time, feel free to also gaze up if you would like to, or keep your head in neutral. Come on back to classical warrior two, Straighten the leg. Release the hands. Turn all 10 toes forward. And just pause in a nice wide leg mountain pose. Breathe. We'll take that sequence to the other side. So I'm switching my chair. You can just turn to the other side or switch your chair as well, whichever works best for you. Bringing now your right foot forward, stepping your left foot back. And remember, hips are away from the chair. Starting with the hands on the hips. Let's see how it feels to just bend the knee, nice and easy. This side might feel different. And do that again. And we'll add the arms, T position, bent knee. Release. T position. Long arms, long legs. Now, with the arms in the T, lift that back arm. And release, T position. Lift the back arm, gaze out over your right fingertips. T position. Last time is the hold. Gazing out over those fingertips, back arm lifts. Or if you've had enough with the lifted arms, you can place your hand on your hip. And come on back to upright, T position arms. Bring that back arm down the outside of the leg, and let's take reverse warrior. Coming back to upright. Reverse warrior. Upright now. Reverse warrior, pause and hold. This time keeping your head in neutral, or perhaps some of you will choose to look up towards inner elbow. And come on back up. Release the arms, turn the back toes forward, and take a step or a couple of steps forward to come back up to mountain pose. Pause here. Recovering your breath, noticing of the rhythm of the breath. We're really focusing on the breath today. Remember, that's our stress management tool today. So focusing on that rhythm, has it become quicker, more even, less even? Just notice. And we'll come back to the first side. So now your left foot is forward again. Your right, your right toes are turned in more than out. So now the hips are facing the chair. Hips facing the chair. Place your hands on your hips. And take a little upward arc of the heart. Tiny little back bend. And just the smallest little forward fold. Especially if you have osteoporosis or any disc injuries, be really careful with those forward folds. Make sure that your spine remains lengthened. If it's easier for you to put your hands on the chair, feel free to do that. Exhaling, we'll pause. So especially taller people are probably pausing with hands on the back of the chair. Some people maybe feel comfortable coming to the seat of the chair. Notice what you're feeling in the backs of the legs. And if you would like to go a little bit deeper, you can actually fold your arms and place your forehead right there. Finding that stretch in the backs of the legs. The legs are long. This is actually a very modified supported inversion, one of our relaxation techniques. We'll get to this in a little more detail in coming weeks. And using your hands, bring yourself all the way back up to upright. Bring both feet together, and we'll just switch sides. So keeping now your right foot forward, step your left foot back, hips are still facing towards the chair. Placing hands either on hips, or you may be more comfortable having them on the chair. Find that arc in the spine as you lift the heart towards the sky, elbows towards each other, little bitty forward fold, straight legs or straight-ish. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, little forward fold. One more time. Inhaling, lift. Find your arc. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands can be on the back of the chair, best for taller people. If you have more length in your hamstrings and you would like to bring your hands to the chair, feel free to take that. You may be comfortable coming a little bit lower into the pose. Just try not to round the spine. So long spine. And pause here. Use the strength of your hands and arms to bring yourself back up. Bring the back foot forward. Stand up tall, mountain pose again. Here's home base. Finding stillness and finding that balance on the two sides of the body. Equal weight on both feet. Shoulders level. Back of the neck long. And releasing from the pose, we are going to come on down to hands and knees. So you can definitely use your chair to assist you in getting down. I do recommend putting a blanket or a heavy towel down so your knees are padded. Taking your time to make your way down onto your knees. And then we'll bring our hands directly under our shoulders. You won't need your chair, so you can scoot that out of the way for now. Knees down, palms down. And as I mentioned last week, if you have any wrist issues, you can place your fists on the ground instead of your palms. That would give you a little relief. You can also place your forearms on that chair. So several options. We're going to begin by tucking the toes and arcing the sits bones, the gaze up towards the sky, creating a little arc in the spine. And exhale, come on back to neutral, untuck the toes. Let's do that again. Tuck toes, arc the spine. And come on back to neutral. Stretch the right leg out long behind you. You can take a few rocking motions back and forth, pressing the heel back and forward. And then finding stillness, lift the leg. We're going to take that right leg and cross it over the left ankle. Gaze towards the ankle, feeling a stretch in the right side body. Pick up the foot, bring that leg back to center, and simply bend the knee, replace it to the blanket. Second side, extend the left leg long. Lift it up off the earth. That entire leg is lengthening. There's not a bend in the knee. Cross it over the opposite ankle and turn your gaze to look towards your heel. Pick the foot up, come on back to center, and replace now the knee to the blanket. We are going to take downward facing dog on the mat today. So if anybody feels like this isn't right for them, feel free to come back to wall dog. That's why we practiced it first. If you're fine with coming into downward dog at the mat, you're going to bring your hands just a little bit forward of your shoulders. You're going to find that firmness in the abdomen, table pose here. Tuck your toes. Take a nice full breath in. And on the exhalation, lift your hips up and back. Keep your knees bent. Press your hips back so your spine lengthens. And come on down to hands and knees again. Pause for a moment. We'll do it again. We're going to do it one more time with the breath. And then finally, we'll find a hold. So lifting those hips up and back. Make sure you're not in a plank pose. You're not rounding forward. Your hips are back. Your knees are bent. Come on back down to hands and knees. Table pose. And I'll invite you to find a hold this last time in our mat version of downward dog. Inhaling, exhaling, lift knees, stretch the hips towards the wall behind you, lengthen your spine, and some of you may feel comfortable lengthening your legs here. Just a breath or two. Downward facing dog, either at the wall or at the mat. Release, bring your knees down, and come to stand up on your knees. Now we're taking our kneeling mountain pose. Just find stillness. Notice your breath again. What's happened to the rhythm? Using your chair to give you a little assist is a great way to come back up to stand, because we will do one more thing. One foot forward, tuck toes, other foot forward is a nice way to come up, or any way that you can make your way up to standing. And we're going to, I realized we didn't do a balance pose last week. We are going to do a balance pose. So for this one, we'll stand behind the chair, because you might need the chair for balance. So standing right behind your chair, I'll turn to the side so you can see. You're going to bring your right foot forward so the heel touches the left toes. Plant the soles of both feet. Play a little bit with weight transfer. Lift your back heel, replace it back down, lift your forward toes. Place them back down, just back and forth a few times. Playing with the weight transfer, you might not need to hold on to the chair. Now planting the entire length of the soles of both feet. Find that place where your weight is not back and not forward, but right between the two. And come up onto tiptoes. And release, bring the heels down. Tippy toes. Release, heels down. Feel free to do without the chair hold. Tippy toes. And release, adding on. I do recommend holding for this. It's quite challenging. Lifting heels, turning head to one side. Coming to center, releasing heels. Lifting heels, turning head to the other side. And back to center, adding an arm. Head turns, opposite arm lifts. Release. Second side, head turns, opposite arm lifts. And release. We will see how it goes with a hold, lifting heels, turning head, lifting arm, and play. Maybe releasing the hand from the chair, maybe bringing it back for more stability. And release. Let's do our hold on the second side by switching feet. So bringing left foot forward meets the right toes, and we'll just do the hold on the second side. So lifting the heels, turning the head in this opposite direction. This would be towards your left, I believe, and lifting opposite arm. Take a hold if you choose to, either holding the chair or releasing that arm. And release, come on back down. Oh, quite challenging. Anytime we turn our head in balance poses, it can be very destabilizing, but a great way to practice balance. Let's just stretch out our cat. So keep your, let's start with left foot forward and bring the opposite heel back. And you can just lift and lower that back heel. Just stretching out the calf muscles. Second side. Heel presses back and lifts, presses down and lifts, and presses down. Bring the back foot forward. Come all the way up to stand, mountain pose. I'm just going to check the time and see how we're doing. And yes, I think it's time that we come on down to the floor. And we're going to take, I think we can all do this together. We don't need to, I don't need to demonstrate separately. We're going to come on down, so elbows are under shoulders, fingertips are directly forward, and we'll take Sphinx. So it's not this collapsed position that I'm demonstrating here. Rather, find the length in your front spine. Littlest bit of lift at the chin, shoulders back. Sphinx pose. Gaze still and directly forward. A few breaths here. Very healthy position for the spine. Counteracts all that forward schlumping we're doing over our devices or television or handiwork. Come on down, please. Fold one forearm over the other. Let your forehead rest. Let your legs be relaxed. Focus again on your breath. Noticing what happens as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out at your own rhythm. Lifting your forehead up off those folded forearms. We're placing our hands now in a different position. Hands directly under shoulders. We're coming into Cobra pose, little baby Cobra. So let's all start with our foreheads on the floor, hands directly under shoulders, elbows up towards the sky. Elbows in close to the sides of the body. Inhale, lift into a little baby Cobra, find that arc in the spine. Replace the right cheek to the floor. Inhaling, lift back to center. Replace right cheek to the floor. Inhaling, center, go back and forth at your own pace. Replacing first one cheek as you turn your head to the side. Coming to center, turning head opposite. Make sure you're linking with your breath. When you've done that an equal number of times, to each side, come to stillness in a little baby Cobra, hold. Gaze is forward and slightly down. And release. Place opposite forearm on top, rest your forehead there. And pause. Let your legs relax. Come to notice the rhythm of your breath again. We are going to now come onto our backs. I do not come onto my back. So before you roll over onto your back, take just a quick look at what's going to happen. Imagine that I am on my back. You'll see me quite upright instead, but imagine the wall is the floor. And this is what you'll do when you come on down to the floor. So you'll lift one leg, thigh towards chest, and you'll bring that knee out to the side. You'll come back to center. We'll do that a few times. Knee to the side, arm in a T. Back and forth a few times, really getting into that hip socket, warming up that joint. Then you'll want to have your straps available. You will, on the floor, loop that belt around your ball mounds, straighten the leg out long in front of you. We'll have quite a few breaths here in a pause, held position. Then we'll bring that leg out to the side. Then we'll bring that leg back to center and a little bit across, just a little bit. You'll probably feel quite a distinct stretch on the outside of the hip, and that's what we're aiming for. You'll come back to center, bend the knee, and we'll do it on the second side. So I'll talk you through it. Please do come onto your backs and have your strap available. I've been told that my voice fades quite a bit when you're reclined, so I'll come closer to my microphone and hope this works better. So, bending your knees, everyone, placing the soles of your feet on the floor. And we're starting without the strap, but just have it within reach. Please pick the right foot up off the floor. Interlace your hands around your shin or behind your thigh and draw in a little bit. We're not lengthening yet. I see some people lengthening. We're keeping that knee deeply bent and just drawing the thigh towards the chest. Opposite leg can remain bent or be straight. And now bring that bent right knee over to the side. Opposite arm can go out in a T position, yes. Come on back to center, just a little back and forth movement with a bent knee. Over to the side at your own pace. You can go back and forth and back up to center. Opening out to the side and back to center. One more time, out to your right with your right knee and back up to center. Now taking your strap, interlacing it around the ball mounds of the foot, stretch that leg up long and pause. I can see some of you, and some of you have opted to extend the opposite leg long. Others may feel it's more appropriate to keep opposite leg bent. Right leg is long. Transfer both sides of the strap, please, into your right hand and let that leg fall open to the right. Some of you I know are very flexible. Try not to let that leg come all the way to the floor. There's strength involved here, not just flexibility. And inhaling, come all the way back up to upright. You can transfer both sides of the strap into the other hand. And that leg, same side, right leg, is just coming across a little bit. It's not a full twist. If you've been in other yoga classes, you may have done a big old twist so your whole body turns. We're not doing that here. It's just a little movement of the leg over towards the left. And inhale, come all the way back up. Bend the knee. Take the strap off. Bend both legs, plant both feet, and just find balance. Both hips equally grounded. We'll take this whole sequence to the second side. So drawing your left thigh in towards the chest, you can interlace around the shin or around the back of the thigh. Drawing thigh towards chest. Opposite leg straight or bent, you choose. Let that left knee come over towards the left. Just opening up the hip joint a bit, back up to center. Little movement back and forth. Knee over to the left. Come back up to center. And do that one or two more times at your own pace. And coming back to center, everyone, taking your strap, interlacing around ball mounds here, lifting sole of foot up towards the sky, lengthening now that left leg, or whatever your second side is. For most of you, I think it's left. Feel the stretch in the back of the leg. A little bend in the knee could be appropriate if you're tighter in the hamstrings. Transferring both sides of the strap into your left hand now. Let that leg come out to the left. Opposite arm in a T. Try not to let the leg fall all the way to the floor. Balancing strength and flexibility here. Inhaling, come all the way back up. Both sides of the strap in the other hand. And the leg comes across just a little bit. Feeling that stretch in the outside of the hip. Coming back to upright. Bend the knee. Take the strap off. You can put it aside. Bend both knees, plant both feet. And we'll take one symmetrical pose to finish our physical practice, lifting both feet up off the floor. Place your hands on your kneecaps. This is Apanasana. Some of you know it. I'll talk you through it if you don't. Bending your elbows, draw your thighs closer to your chest. Keep your hands on your knees. Simply lengthen your arms. It's a small movement. Bend elbows as you exhale, thighs towards chest. Lengthen the arms, hands stay on knees. And back and forth a few more times. Please replace the soles of your feet to the floor. Stretch your legs out long, prepare for relaxation pose. So as I've mentioned in the past, it can be very nice for low backs to place calves on the seat of a chair. Or you can use your blanket rolled up under your knees. And place your hands anywhere they're comfortable. This could be resting on your belly, could be arms alongside the body. It could be that position we found last week with your hands on your rib cage. Placing your hands wherever they're comfortable. Turn your attention inward to your breath again. Notice the rhythm of your breath. How is it different than it was at the beginning of class? Maybe a little bit faster. We've been moving quite a bit. Maybe more even, maybe less even. Just observing for a few moments. And then we'll begin to change the rhythm of the breath in a way that can be great for stress management. We'll lengthen the exhalation. Let's begin with a normal inhalation, let's say to about the count of 3. Inhaling, 2, 3. We'll add a count to the exhalation. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, 2, 3. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Inhaling, 2, 3. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue like this, adapting the practice to your own count. Making the exhalation maybe just a little bit longer. If you've done this practice before, eventually doubling the length of the exhalation. Just play with that rhythm. If at any time you become short of breath, feel uneasy, come on back to your natural rhythm. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. A few more cycles of breath, lengthening your exhalation. Please take one more cycle of lengthened exhaling breath. And then releasing the control of the breath, simply coming back to breath observation, letting it be at a natural rhythm, whatever that is right now. Body relaxed, and the mind remains quietly focused on the breath's natural rhythm. Allow the breathing now to begin to lengthen and deepen once again. Both the inhalation and the exhalation deepening. Bring gentle movement into fingers, toes, ankles, and wrists. Bending your knees, rolling over to one side or the other, and pausing on your side body with your knees bent, being sure that your head is supported. Pressing one palm and the other into the earth. Bring yourself all the way up to upright, sitting up ideally on some height. Finding seated mountain in the upper body, long spine. Drawing hands together at heart center. One more time for today's class, pressing palms together and a little bit more up. I'll close with one Om. Feel free to join me if you would like to. Inhaling. Om. One more nice full inhalation, breathing in the ease and peace of yoga. Exhaling, namaste, everyone. I will take us off of mute.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good class.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Jean.
you, Jean.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Good weekend.